All right, everybody. I am so excited to be here with you today and with our very special guest. I'm going to try to contain myself and not get too excited.
I just love that you're singing. I do that too. I'm like, hello, it's Wednesday. I can't sing at all, but that was a great intro. You're singing already.
Oh, but yes, no, let's not do Broadway today. So with us today is our fearless leader of the amazing community called the Free Mama Movement, and a thriving community of tens of thousands of women. This woman's mission is to simplify everything, right? To ensure that no mother ever has to choose between family and financial stability. Lauren is also a #1 international best-selling author and a 2 Coma Club Award winner, whose business and life experience has made her the popular choice. When I say popular, I did have to confess to Lauren that I was actually starstruck when we got to talk. She's popular guest speaking event, sharing stages with people like Tony Robbins. In fact, that's how I found her, because through Russell Brunson's event, I'm actually attending Russell Brunson's like next I think next
I'll
week.
be there.
No.
2 weeks, something. Yeah, I'll be
Yes. Oh my gosh, we have to meet. So anyways, we're getting sidetracked, but that's okay. This is real life. So sharing the stage with those amazing, incredible leaders, just like that. So Lauren is most passionate about helping people get comfortable with the uncomfortable in pursuit of living totally awesome, guilt-free life. Learn more about her and teach us more about how she runs spiritual businesses at thefreemama.com. It's where you can find her. But I'm really excited to have a conversation with you today, Lauren. Thank you so much in advance for your time and
of
being an
course.
inspiration to all of the mamas out there.
I am so excited. And, time management is one of those little nuggets that I have kind of become known for. And it's really interesting because with my students, sometimes they'll say, oh, I didn't want to bother you. I'll like find out someone was in Kansas City, which is where I live, and they don't want to, they're like, well, I know how busy. I'm like, here's the thing about people who are good at time management. Like, we know how to invest our time in the things that we prioritize. We know how to have those firm boundaries, but if you don't ask, the answer is always no. So it is my pleasure to spend this time with you and everybody listening or watching. This is one of my favorite things that I get to do, is just share my information and experiences. And they are just that. I hope you take from it what serves you, leave what doesn't. And I am imperfect, but I also know a lot, and I don't know even more, but hopefully we'll just focus on the things I know today.
Amazing and so incredible. I mean, the whole time management situation and things like that, it's so ironic, Lauren. I talked about it in our training this morning. Like literally,
Oh,
it
yeah.
was like, here's $1 million day. This is the schedule. Like, it's so
That's
interesting how it's so basic, but it's so like I would say, like the word is crucial to like the
Yeah.
business and just quality of life overall. So yes, no, thank you so much for being here. So let's start. I'm really curious. How why did you start the Free Mama movement, and what led you to be doing what you're doing today?
Yeah. So we're going back about 5 years. We actually have our anniversary this month in a couple weeks, 19 days as of day of recording. So very exciting. But I actually started as the OG Free Mama, both literally and figuratively. So about 12 years ago, 11 years ago, I guess, I got pregnant with our oldest. It took us a while to get pregnant. I was working a full-time job. My husband was working. We had our first home. We got married young. It was amazing. And we never had a conversation about what it would look like for me to stay home, because that was not a financial possibility. We had a mortgage, we knew our bills, we had a little bit of debt, and it just was never a conversation. But I grew up with a dad who's self-employed and a mom who stayed home. And I had this picture in my mind that like, that's what good moms did. Like, good moms were at home and they did everything for their children. And flash forward to by the time my oldest was born, I had to rewrite that story for myself pretty fast, or we were going to go somewhere dark pretty fast, because that was not my reality. And after my unpaid maternity leave, which is a topic for a different conversation, I went back to work, and I actually realized I love working. I love to work. I'm very driven. I've always been kind of a self-starter, very ambitious. But by the time my son was born 2 years later, I realized, working for someone else was not allowing me to be the parent that I wanted to be, have the marriage I wanted to have, and sort of live the life and have that time freedom over what I did. So I did what every good 27-year-old mom of two does. I started Googling how to make money from home, and I tried all the things, secret shopping, surveys, network marketing. I've done everything, I'm telling you. And it wasn't until I discovered the world of freelancing and how accessible and applicable it is to really anyone who can provide a service to other businesses, that my life really started to change. And so in 2014, I opened an LLC called The Free Mama. Can you believe it? A little forward casting, but that was the name of my freelancing business. And I had this advisor at the time who thought I was crazy. He's like, I was doing social media management. That was how I first started freelancing. And he's like, what male-owned business is going to hire a social media manager called The Free Mama? And I'm like, I didn't care. I knew that that's what it was. It was symbolic. It was this gesture of like, I wanted to be free from the job. I wanted to be free to be the parent and person I wanted to be. Free is the beginning of freelancing. I thought I was so clever, all these things. But anyway, I never actually showed the name of my business to anybody. I kind of hid behind it, and I would call it like TFM Media. That's what my invoices said. So I was like pretending, but my actual first LLC was The Free Mama. Flash forward a couple years, a whole lot of story and life and a miscarriage and a baby and a move cross country and all kinds of life. I left my job. I replaced my income working half the hours, maybe that first year of freelancing, and realized I'm not special. Actually over 50, I think it's around 54, 56% of freelancers out earn their salary in the first year freelancing. So I was not special. I was a part of the majority. But what I realized was, as time went on, is there were a lot of other moms suffering, trying network marketing, losing self-esteem, losing money, starting blogs that were not profitable, not really having a clear path of how they could make money, have a career, but still be present in their children's lives. And whether that meant staying home with them or choosing to put them in childcare, but having the flexibility to be there when they wanted to be or needed to be without asking someone's permission for time off or feeling guilty about it, there wasn't a path for that. And so in 2017, after getting over myself in a whole lot of ways, because most of this was mental, not the actual work, it was the mindset to do the work, I launched the Free Mama Movement, a Facebook group, a course, a coaching program, all the things. That's sort of the simplified version, but that's where it came from. Was, it really started with me, but once my life changed, I felt very called to share this information with other people. It should not have been a secret. And COVID really sort of changed the online landscape out of necessity and demand. But really up until 3 years ago, 2 years ago, the majority of people who came to me had never heard of freelancing, or they only applied the word to photographers or IT people. And so they had no idea that it was accessible to someone like them. And so it's been life-changing, not just for me, but for thousands of my students as well. So incredibly fulfilling.
Oh my goodness. I love and adore stories like this. It's like you have this problem and you solved it for yourself. And oh my goodness, there are so many people that could actually benefit from it. And you're open and generous about your knowledge and you're sharing it now collectively. You're making a difference. So lovely. Oh my goodness. So
Thank you.
just like any other moms, I adore you. And I've been following you and admiring you in secret, but now in person now.
It's mutual. It's mutual.
And so, of course, right, we always talk about business and when things are great, and now you have thousands of people you've been on stages with, Tony Robbins and your Russell Brunson, all of the things. But really, let's get real, right? There were times where it was tough. I mean, at least I know in my business there are peaks and valleys. So can you share with us a challenging experience that you've had in your business, and how did you overcome it? And what is your takeaway, and what is your, I guess, message for moms out there who are trying to make it, who are trying to figure it out, to just keep going?
There's so many, and I'm not trying to be cute or clever when I say that. There are really small things. There are really big things. I have had to learn how to hire and fire people. That's not something I ever did in my employment history. I never managed people. And even if I did, I didn't really like, I kind of babysat them, but I I didn't have those responsibilities. I've had to learn how to be not just the leader of my students, but the leader of a team, where I'm responsible for other people's livelihoods. And there have been times where that pressure is all consuming, but there have been smaller things in my business as well, or now I perceive them as smaller, but at the time they felt really great. So I'll kind of give an external example and maybe a more like internal example, if that works. So kind of an external example, meaning something way outside of my control, in my business, but that like just destroyed me, was in the end of summer 2018. So I launched 2017, took a few months building the group, doing the webinar, all the things, building all the behind the scenes work. You know, there is no overnight success. We just don't see it all, right? So I'm building for months. I made my first course sale in December of 2017. So that's like 3 months later. And then it was kind of hit the ground running. Like we built a lot of momentum very, very quickly. I wrote my book that next year. We had our first event that year. Like there was a lot of really important things that happened. And I didn't do it all by myself. A lot of the traffic, and so visitors, you know, people coming into my Facebook group or going to my webinar, came from paid advertising, because I am a very lazy hard worker and I don't want to work 8 hours a day being on TikTok and Facebook and doing all the things. So I love paid traffic because it means that I'm paying Facebook to work for me when I don't feel like working. So for me, because my message was on point, my offer was solid, I was able to use paid traffic pretty efficiently. Well, in August of 2018, I lost my Facebook ads account. Again, today, sitting here in September 2022, that sounds a little silly to like get worked up about, but baby business owner Lauren was on the ground in the fetal position, crying, literally saying things like, well, we had a good run. Like that was great while it lasted. Like for me, something like that meant the end of my business. And I had to really learn to toughen up, to close the gap on my reaction. So whether that's someone saying something unkind to me in a comment, or having to make a difficult decision, like letting a team member go, it's not that I don't care. I do care. But it's also not giving things more space and energy than they need in my life. And I hadn't learned that yet. Another lesson I hadn't learned at that time was not to put all my eggs in one basket. I had one strategy and it was awesome while it worked. Well, all of a sudden that strategy was eliminated from my playbook and I like had my hands in the air, and I had to really hone in my critical thinking skills of, okay, what's the problem? The problem isn't that I lost my Facebook ads account. That's a problem and we'll deal with that, but it's outside of our control. The bigger problem that I actually had was that I now had no traffic coming to my business. So I had to look at, well, what are all the traffic sources available to me and what should I look at pursuing? And so we started launching some Pinterest ads. We actually launched Free Mama TV, which you can go to freemamatv.com. That goes to our YouTube channel. That is still to date. It provides me passive income. It is our #1 source of organic leads in our community, and it makes sales passively, weekly, daily, you know, and that the reason we launched it was because of that pitfall. So that's kind of an example of something external that was really hard at the time, led to personal growth, more strategic thinking, and also some really positive outcomes. On the other side of things, I'm in a really difficult season right now, and I don't even know if you know this. But this is just in the spirit of transparency. We have had a very, very difficult. We're actually going on a year now in October. Time with our oldest daughter. She has some pretty severe mental health concerns. Getting her the proper support has been nothing short of difficult. And this is not just coming from anybody. I recognize my privilege. I set my own hours. I can go anywhere at any time to help her. I don't have to work around a 9 to 5 to get her appointments, and we still can't get her the help. We have the funds because of the businesses that my husband and I have built to be able to get her pretty much whatever care she needs, and we're still having a hard time. So this comes with privilege, and it has been difficult. The last few years have been hard for so many people. And for me, what this looks like is we all have human capacity issues. And so it is finding the balance between grace and excuses. And I am not someone who typically falls to excuses because of the discipline I've exercised in my business over the last 5 years. But I'm not used to giving myself this much grace of, listen, like your family right now is demanding a lot more than it has historically. And that might impact your business in certain ways, but knowing and trusting the process of this is right. The other conflict that's made this really hard is this is about my child. What information can I share and not share? I've built my entire community on vulnerability and transparency. Those are core values for me. I can't pretend like I'm okay if I'm not okay. I can't show up and serve my students if we've had a difficult day. And so I've had to rely on team. I've had to open up more to my community, both for myself, but also in the spirit of transparency. And that's been I'm still in it. It's been a really interesting season to navigate. And yet it's still created a lot of connection within my community because so many people are hurting right now. So there will always be challenges. There will always be struggles. And it's learning, how do I navigate this? What tools do I need? What's the lesson I'm supposed to be learning? Where am I most needed? And am I in alignment with my values, both within my business and within my personal life? And it's a dance.
Yeah, I have to agree. Interestingly, just like you too, I mean, I've had challenges personally that truly affected the business, but because
Yeah.
of that, like it got me opportunity to really look at, do I need to change my business model? Do I
Yes.
need to change up the offering? What kind of delivery system do I need instead of really, falling on my face and realizing I'm failing? Well, because
Yeah.
then I'm actually failing forward. We talk about this in our business too. Actually, that's the only time. Like, unless you fail, you wouldn't know what to do next. So,
Yeah, it's
um,
learning. I failure is one of those words that it's so weighted, and the way that we define it matters so much for
oh
our
my,
relationship for failure. I used to be afraid of failure. I have zero concerns around failure. Why? Because I've learned to trust myself. I know that I'm resilient. I know that I'm the kind of person who will never give up. So things might pivot, change, adapt. It might mean a new business in the future. I don't know, but I know myself and I know the kind of person I am. So failure carries zero weight for me mentally anymore, because all it is growth, opportunities to learn, adapt. And all of these things are essential to being successful in business and life. So we've got to really define what we're talking about and what it means. And it can change our relationship with some of these words and our fear around them.
yeah, 100%. So, like, I would encourage my kids even thinking about, failure as feedback, because
Oh, yeah.
oh my gosh, like if you didn't, that you wouldn't know what to do like next time around. So amazing. So, what's your secret? How did you get on stages with Tony Robbins, Russell Brunson's? Like,
Okay.
what got you there? And if I know I'm not the only one, other mamas are thinking too, like, I want to
Yeah.
be like Lauren. I want to speak on stages. Like, where should I start?
Cool. So first and foremost, it's not a secret. I have no secrets. Everything I teach, even the stuff people pay me for, is on Free Mama TV. I don't believe in secrets because at the end of the day, all the information is on the internet anyway. People want people they can trust. They want accountability. They want someone to ask questions to. So there is no secret. If there is a secret sauce to anything at all, it is you being you. So figure out a way to make your insides match your outsides. Be yourself. Don't be me. Don't be Dee Dee. Don't be anybody else that you're trying to model, because it will not work and it's not sustainable. It will be exhausting. So I have zero secrets. To answer your question, the answer is get in the room. Put yourself in the room. So my very first business coach was Liz Benny, who was one of Russell's kind of like first success stories when he launched ClickFunnels. And I didn't really know a lot about Russell. I had found Liz first. So I had followed Liz for years. It was terrifying to invest in her. I had to beg for a payment plan. I had to split up my down payment on multiple credit cards. Like, I put my back against the wall, lit the fire, and it was go time. You want to talk about changing your relationship with failure? Failure was not an option. So if you're in a situation where you don't have high necessity, whether it's through motivation, which by the way, motivation is wavering, I wouldn't trust it, or through, performance, skin in the game, whatever, like you've got to reach whatever point it is where failure won't be an option, because then you won't give up. Okay. So Liz led me to ClickFunnels and Russell's World and all of that. So I think it was 2019 Funnel Hacking Live. I'm like, I want to go. I wanted my husband to go. I wanted to meet Russell. I wanted him to know I existed. So like, you need to make sure speakers know you exist. In fact, I'll remind me to come. I'm going to give everybody homework. Don't let me forget. So I bought tickets to Funnel Hacking Live for me and my husband. I had no idea who was going to watch my kids. It was like, say yes, figure it out later. So I bought tickets. And then like a few months later, I was able to pay for the hotel. And then I'm like calling my mom, like, can we fly you down on points on Southwest, whatever, and so like I had a few months, but like we figured it out. We said, yes, we figured it out. This is going to sound really creepy. I hate when my husband hears me say this because I promise it's not creepy, but I was thinking about this so much that I was having dreams about having lunch with Liz Benny and Russell Brunson. I had never met Liz in real life either, even though I was working with her on Zoom. I was having dreams about these people. I was manifesting it in my sleep of I will know them. I will be in the room. I went to Funnel Hacking Live. I did not meet Russell. But at that Funnel Hacking Live, Russell pitched one of his coaching programs. I had wrapped up my coaching with Liz. I enrolled in Russell's coaching program. I did not meet Russell. He doesn't coach. He has coaches, but through his masterminds, he has events. At one of his events, it was a cruise. It was really cool. So it's like all these ClickFunnels people on this cruise. And one of the days that we were docked somewhere happened to be my daughter's birthday. And we ended up getting a cabana. The cabana we got was right next door to Russell and his wife Colette's cabana. So I spent the entire day in a private cabana, part of the beach, with Russell Brunson, like meeting him. They talked to us. We were trying not to be annoying. So now this person knows my name, right? So I make sure not only did I get in the room, but I made myself available. I show up and I ask questions. If there is an open mic, I will grab it. I seize the opportunity, put yourself in the places. And I did this consistently. That got me an opportunity to speak at one of his smaller like fulfillment events. And because, which they do as kind of a trial run before they put people on their stage. And because I got really positive feedback, spent a lot of time and energy perfecting that, later that year, or I guess the next year, I was asked to speak at Funnel Hacking Live. So that's literally how you do. You have to physically put yourself in the room. So here's your homework. And I did a virtual event last week for my students, and they got a huge lecture from me on day 2 because they didn't do this. They had the opportunity to ask questions. The feedback, well, I didn't have a question. I don't care. Here's what it looks like. Next time you're at an in-person event, virtual event, summit, conference, don't care what it is, you raise your hand and you say, hey, Dee Dee, even if you don't have a question. I love that part of your speech where you talked about XYZ. That was my biggest takeaway, right? But before you do that, it's, hi, Dee Dee. My name's Lauren Golden. I'm the founder of The Free Mama. I help moms ditch the 9-to-5 to work from home and live a totally awesome, guilt-free life. I loved your presentation. You offered so much value, right? That's visibility. That's value. Then I'm going to get out my phone. I'm going to take a picture of us talking, and I'm going to tag you on Instagram and say, thank you. Oh my gosh, everybody go follow Dee Dee. She is absolutely amazing. You have to know her. You have to sign up for her next speaking thing. Like, she's super awesome. Go follow. That's going to go to her inbox. So this is how we start to build reciprocity. We build relationships. We get visibility, is you make them look awesome. Go make them look awesome. And I gave one of my students last week went and did this with one of my speakers, and he has booked a call for her to become his podcast manager. I don't know if he'll sign. I don't know that, but it turned into a lead. So if you want these opportunities, go pursue them. If you sit back waiting for somebody to just notice your greatness, there are a lot of great people. You are great, but there are a lot of great people. So go create that opportunity for yourself.
Oh my goodness, love it. I mean, you've hit so many different areas when it comes to marketing. You got marketing in there, you got, motivation in there, you got everything in there. I can talk to you all freaking day, Lauren.
Thank you. I can talk all day.
Oh my goodness. So thank you so, so much. So if you have any last remarks for the mamas out there who are, on the fence, right? They probably have had their businesses for a couple of years. It's been hard. Everyone's been challenged since the pandemic. what would you share with them in terms of just keep going, in addition to what you have already shared so far? That this is like you said, right? Like there is no way out. There's no option. It's like failure is not even an option. Success is the only option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my advice on, I mean, you said some really great things, you know, don't give up, perseverance, trust yourself, but also not, but also, and also those things are true. And also ask yourself what you want often and be honest with yourself, because success is amazing, but kind of like failure, we have to define what success actually is. For a long time, I thought that was success. I thought getting $1 million in business was success. And it's not that it's not, but I also have really learned how not financially motivated I am. That only took me so far. And then for like a hot minute, it was like, the next one's the 10 million. And then I was like, I don't want that business actually. Like doing what would be required of me to have a $10 million a year business would take me out of my lifestyle goals. But it took me starting to pursue that to recognize how out of alignment that I was. You don't have to want a 2CCX award. You don't have to want to speak on Russell's stage. You don't have to want to write a book. You don't have to want anything, but you have to want what you want. You have to know what you want, and you have to really want it, or it will always be easier to do something else. So look for models, look for inspiration. It's beautiful, but please define it for yourself, you know, figure out what you want it to look like. And through my both achievements, but also my family these days, and just a whole lot of experience over the last 5 years, I am continuing to redefine this for myself, redefine what I love about my business, what I don't, what offers are serving me, what aren't. What do I want my legacy to be? What do I want my story to be that people know and remember about me, and continuing to rewrite that. And so I think know your values, know your alignment, define success. And please, please, please make sure it's in alignment with you and not just what you see other people. And not to end on a downer, but a lot of people online are full of crap. So sometimes we think something and then you kind of see under the rug and you're like, oh, and I had this really big aha last fall on this topic. And it really set my life in a different trajectory, and I'm super grateful for it. So it felt disappointing, but it also felt very freeing. And so as the founder of The Free Mama, I am not just about freeing people from their 9 to 5. Like, I'm talking internal peace and freedom, the freedom to be yourself, the freedom to live your life on your terms. So don't be afraid to continue to shimmy as you grow and evolve to figure out what that looks like for you, because it's your life and no one's going to do it for you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That is the perfect note to end on.
Awesome.
Yeah. So you're so much heart.
Thank
There's
you.
like, so like everything about you is perfection in my world.
I
Thank
promise
you.
you it's so
Okay.
not, but I am a whole lot of heart. I'm an Enneagram 2. So I am just super motivated and inspired by showing up and helping people. So, yeah, please connect with me. If this also resonated with you, reach out to me, let me know how I can help you, because, that is what lights me up big time.
Yes. And not only that, Lauren has been so generous with sharing information on this call. She's also has a beautiful gift for you.
Yeah.
Well, so Lauren, you want to share just a little bit about that?
Sure. So if you are on the newer side of business, or looking for a pivot, wanting to get into the service provider space, or just looking for a little relatability, honesty, and motivation, we have something called the Free Mama Guide. It's sort of a glorified version of my best-selling book. So you'll get the audiobook, the PDF, but also we have accompanying videos that don't exist anywhere else. They go along with the course, the book materials, and we have a whole lot of free templates and resources to help you get started as well. We sell this for $47, although there's frankly a lot more value in there as well. But we actually have a coupon exclusively for you for viewing this interview, where you can actually get it for free. So the coupon will zero out the expense, and it is my gift to you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah,
I can't
you're
wait.
welcome.
for the audience to hear this interview and also to tap into your community, being a part of that too. And again, thank you so much for your generosity, for your contribution, for being you,
Thank
and
you.
for being such a great, incredible role model for all of us mamas. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it very much.